Welcome to this program. Today we are going to discuss about the quantum mechanics. In the first part, we are going to discuss about the fundamental concept of quantum mechanics. And in the second part, we will discuss the application of quantum mechanics. The first one is Planck's quantum theory. The energy density or the amount of energy radiated per unit volume by a black body depends upon the temperature. The correlation between the energy density and the wavelength at a different temperature is given in the following figure. The curves have the following characteristic. For each temperature, there is a particular wavelength at which the energy radiation is maximum. Let us consider the figure. The figure explains the emission of radiation from a black body at a different temperature. If we consider a particular wavelength at 2000 Kelvin, 1500 Kelvin and 1200 Kelvin, the position of maximum shift towards the lower wavelength when the temperature increases. It is indicated in the figure. The higher the temperature, the more pronounced is the maximum. The curves are referred to the black body radiation curve. A black body is defined as an object that absorbs all the radiation falling on it. A perfection absorber is also a perfected emission of radiation. Thus, all the bodies heated to a given temperature to a maximum energy is radiated by black body radiation. As the temperature increases, the energy density is shifted to the shorter wavelength. At 2000 Kelvin, the wavelength is very small. You compare with the temperature at 1000 Kelvin. Means displacement law. Lambda m into t, that will be equal to b, where lambda m is the wavelength of the corresponding to the maximum in the curve. And this equation is known as Wien's displacement law. The Wien's constant b will be equal to 0.0029 mk, and Wilhelm Wien was awarded Nobel Prize in the year 1911 for his discovery. Quantum theory of radiation. The basis for the quantum theory of radiation: 1. The radiation energy is emitted or absorbed discontinuously in the form of tiny bundles of energy known as quantum. And each quantum is associated with a definite energy E equal to h nu, where E is the energy in joules and mu is the frequency of radiation and h is the Planck's constant. Therefore, E will be equal to hc nu bar, where nu bar is the wavelength of the light. A body can emit or absorb energy only in whole multiples of quantum, that is 1 h nu, 2 h nu, 3 h nu, n h nu, etc. This is known as quantization of energy. According to the Planck, he give the expression for the energy density of black body radiation. EV is equal to 85 h nu cube by c cube into dV divided by exponential h nu by kt minus 1. And this expression is a TRB questions, and it is more important also. Here the two important point is very important. A body can emit or absorb energy in terms of quanta: 1 h nu, 2 h nu, 3 h nu, up to n h nu, and the energy density formula EV equal to 8 pi h nu cube by c cube into dV by exponential h nu by kt minus 1. These are the two important points, or you can say key points to the PGDRP as well as the polytechnic examination. The above equation explains the black body radiation curve at all wavelengths obtained at a different temperature, and the Planck was awarded the Physics Nobel Prize in 1918 for propounding the quantum theory of radiation. The next important is Compton effect. the decreasing in energy or increase in wavelength of an X-ray after scattering from the surface of an object is known as the Compton effect. By applying the law of conservation of energy and the law of conservation of momentum and assuming X-ray to consist of photon and each possessing energy equal to h nu. According to Compton, delta lambda will be equal to 2h by mc sin square theta by 2. This is the equation number 1, where delta lambda is the increasing in wavelength, m is the mass of the electron, c is the velocity of light, and theta is the angle between the incident and scattered ray. According to this equation, Compton shift should be independent upon wavelength of an incident X-ray. That is very important. Arthur Compton and the American physicist shared the 1927 Physics Nobel Prize with the C.T.R. Wilson. And it is also give another equation for that is Compton effect. The Compton effect provides evidence for the photon, the nature of the radiation. The Compton equation 1 can be also be written as delta lambda will be equal to lambda dash minus lambda, that will be equal to h by mc into 1 minus cos theta, where lambda dash is the wavelength of the scattering X-ray and lambda is the wavelength of the incident X-ray. Here you have to note one important point: the lambda dash is greater than the lambda. Wavelength shift is independent upon the nature of the substance as well as the wavelength of an incident X-ray, but it depends only on the scattering angle. That is very important. The increasing in wavelength is directly proportional to the scattering angle. And we have to consider 3 cases, taking theta equal to 0, theta equal to 90 and theta equal to 180. Now, if the theta is 90, the scatter radiation is parallel to the incident radiation, the cos theta that will be equal to 1, so that delta lambda will be equal to 0. There is no change in the wavelength shift. If you consider theta equal to 90, the scattered radiation is perpendicular to the incident radiation. In the case, cos 90 will be equal to 0, so that the delta lambda that will be equal to hmc. You substitute the value of h, m and c, and m is the mass of the electron and h is the Planck's constant and c is the velocity of light. Therefore, h will be equal to 6.626 into 10 to the power of minus 34 divided by 9.19 into 10 to the power of minus 31 into 3 into 10 to the power of 8. That comes around 0.02422 into 10 to the power of minus 10 meter, and this is known as Compton wavelength. And in the case 3, theta will be equal to 180 degree, and you substitute all this value, the radiation is scattered in a direction opposite that of incident radiation. The cos 180 will be equal to minus 1. Therefore, delta lambda will be equal to 2h by mc. This comes around 0.048 into 10 to the power of minus 10 meter. That is, it is twice the value of Compton wavelength. Next, we are going to discuss the important effect, that is photoelectric effect. When a light of certain frequency strikes the surface of the metal, the electrons are ejected from the metal. This phenomenon is known as photoelectric effect. A few metals show this effect under the action of visible light, but many more so it is under the action of more energetic ultraviolet light. Example, cesium has the lowest ionization energy, which electrons are ejected most easily by light. Each metal, a certain minimum frequency of incident light is required to eject the electron, and this frequency is known as threshold frequency. The threshold frequency is different for different metals. The kinetic energy of the ejected electron is independent upon the intensity but varies linearly with its frequency. The number of ejected electron from the metal surface depends upon the intensity of the incident radiation. Greater the intensity, the larger the number of ejected electron. So here, according to the Einstein's theory, the h nu will be equal to pi plus half mu square. The pi is known as the threshold energy or the work function of the metal, and half mu square is the kinetic energy of the ejected electron. And this is the important equation. H nu will be equal to pi plus half mu square. And the pi will be equal to h nu 0. Therefore, we can change this equation into h nu will be equal to, substitute the value of pi, it becomes h nu 0 plus half mu square. Therefore, the kinetic energy half mu square equal to h nu minus h nu 0. You take h out, h into v minus v0, or half mu square will be equal to h into nu minus nu 0. This equation is known as Einstein photoelectric equation, and the Alfred Einstein, the German physicist, won the Nobel Prize in 1921 for the explaining the photoelectric effect. But this equation is very important, and this photoelectric is also very important. Therefore, according to photoelectric effect, the kinetic energy will be equal to h into nu minus nu 0. It can be asked in two different ways. Or h nu will be equal to pi 0 plus half mu square, or h nu will be equal to work done plus kinetic energy. Now we are going to discuss about the problem. A photon have a wavelength of 4000 Armstrong strikes a metal surface. The work function of the metal is 2.13 electron volt. Calculate the kinetic energy of the emitted photoelectron. The kinetic energy of the photoelectron, the formula is Ke equal to h nu minus pi. Here the wavelength is given, it should be converted into nu. You know very well, nu will be equal to, you look the formula, nu will be equal to C by lambda. You substitute the value, C equal to 3 into 10 to the power of 8, and lambda will be equal to 4000 into 10 to the power of minus 10 meter. Therefore, it will be equal to 7.5 into 10 to the power of 14 second power minus 1. You substitute the value of h, nu and pi in this equation, you will get 6 into 6 to 6 into 10 to the power of minus 34, the value of h, 7.5 into 10 to the power of 14 second power minus 1, the value of nu, divided by 1.602 into 10 to the power of minus 19, that is, it is to convert it into electron volt. The 1 electron volt will be equal to 1.602 into 10 to the power of minus 19 joules. Therefore, you substitute it and you will get the h nu value in electron volt. From that, 2.3 electron volt is subtracted, you will get 0.97 electron volt. The kinetic energy of the photoelectron will be equal to 0.97 electron. The Bohr's model of atom. The important postulates of Bohr theory. The electron in an atom revolve around the nucleus only in a certain circular orbit. The orbits are called known as the energy cell. This is the fundamentals of atom. The Bohr gives number 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. to these levels, and these numbers are termed as principal quantum number, and the various energy levels are designated by the letter K, L, M, N, etc. The energy of an electron cannot change continuously. It changes only arbitrarily of the electron jumps from one energy level into another energy level. The very important point is the angular momentum of an electron moving around the nucleus is quantized. That is, the angular momentum mvr equal to n into h by 2 pi, or n into h bar. That is mvr equal to, the angular momentum will be equal to nh 2 pi, nh by 2 pi. This is very important equation, and you will expect more questions from this equation. And the angular momentum of an electron be h by 2 pi, 2h by 2 pi, or 3h by 2 pi, or nh by 2 pi. The principle is known as quantization of angular momentum. The next one is Bohr equation for the energy of the electron in hydrogen and hydrogen-like atom. The energy of the electron in the nth orbital is given by En will be equal to minus 2 pi square z square me power 4 divided by n square h square, and the radius of an atom Rn will be equal to n square h square divided by 4 pi square m e power 4. This is known as Bohr equation applicable to hydrogen and hydrogen-like atom. The above two equation changed in SI unit, it should be multiplied by 4 pi epsilon 0. This is called as permittivity factor. Therefore, the Rn become 4n epsilon 0 n square h square divided by 4 pi square me4, and En will be equal to minus 2 pi square z square me power 4 by 4 pi epsilon 0 n square h square. And one for the radius of the atom, the another for the energy of the atom. The factor 4 pi epsilon 0 is called permittivity factor, and it is equal to 1.11264 into 10 to the power minus 10 c square n power minus 1 m power minus 2. The velocity of the electron in the first orbital of the hydrogen atom is u1 equal to nh by 2 pi mr. You substitute the value of n, h, m, r in the equation. H will be 6.626 into 10 to the power minus 34, and m will be equal to 9.109 into 10 to the power minus 3 kilogram, and r will be equal to 0.529 into 10 to the power 10 meter, which is comes around 2.188 into 10 to the power 6. That is, the velocity of electron is about 1 divided by 1/50 of the velocity of the light. The electron in hydrogen atom Z equal to 1 in the ground state. E1 will be equal to, there is a very important calculation, and based on this calculation you can expect more question in PGTRP as well as polytechnic examination. The energy of the electron in ground state, E will be equal to minus 2 pi square Z square m e power 4 divided by 4 pi epsilon 0 whole square n square h square. You substitute all this value, that is mass of the electron, charge of the electron, and n square is equal to 1 and epsilon 0 constant, and as well as the h. You substitute all these equation values in the above equation, you will get minus 2179 into 10 to the power minus 18 joules per atom. It is converted into joules. This will be equal to 1312.19 kilojoule per mole. Per mole, the energy of the electron in the ground state is 1312.19 kilojoules, and this is divided by 1.602 into 10 to the power minus 19 joules per electron volt. That gives minus 13.6 electron volt per atom. Therefore, the energy of the electron in hydrogen atom in the ground state, that will be equal to minus 13.6 electron volt. And similarly, the energy of the electron in the excitation state can be obtained by putting n equal to 2, 3, 4, etc. in the equation, above equation you will get. Bohr's theory and origin of hydrogen spectrum. And here we are going to discuss the number of different lines expected when in the emission spectrum of hydrogen atom. Hydrogen atom may absorb sufficient energy to shift their electron to higher energy levels, and the electrons tend to fall back to the lowest energy level. These are called electronic transition. During the transition, the energy is released, the frequency, and hence a specific wavelength. It is given in the figure 2. Suppose an electron lying in the energy level N2, where its the energy is E2, jump to the lower energy level N equal to 1, and where its energy is E1, then different type of series. From higher energy level, that is 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 to 1, the energy level 1, the transitions takes place. It gives Lyman series. Upon the lower energy level, N1 equal to 1 and N2 will be equal to 2, 3, 4, etc. That electronic transition, the lines obtained are called Lyman series. Similarly, you consider the second one, Balmer series. N2 will be equal to 2, and for higher energy level 3, 4, 6, that series are called Balmer series. Similarly, if we consider N equal to 3, the higher energy level 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and these series are called Baskin series. And similarly, N equal to 4, higher energy level 5, 6, 7, 8, that series are called Brackett series. And last one is N equal to 5, the higher energy levels are 6, 7, 8, that series are called Pfeiffer series. And here the Lyman series absorbed at the UV region, and Palmer series absorbed at the visible region, and Baskin, Brackett and Pfeiffer series, the three series are observed at IR region, and it is given in the next. And the energy E2 will be equal to 2 pi square m e power 4 pi epsilon 0 n2 square h square, and E1 will be equal to 2 pi square m e power 4 pi epsilon 0 n1 square h square. You subtract it, and finally you will get the expression, and delta V equal to h nu, and nu will be equal to 1 by lambda, it will be equal to nu by c, and which will be equal to 2 pi square m e power 4 pi epsilon square h cube c into 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square. All these constants are put together, and it will be equal to RH. Therefore, the energy difference nu bar will be equal to RH into 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square. That is the simplest formula you have to, that is, keep in your mind. Nu bar will be equal to RH into 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square. And the RH is called Ramberg constant of hydrogen atom, and we can calculate the value of RH by substituting the value of mass of the electron, electronic charge, Hc, 4 by epsilon 0, etc. And we will get the value, three values are for RH. The first value RH in centimeter per minus 1, RH will be equal to 109690.8 centimeter per minus 1. It will be equal to 21.79 into 10 to the power of minus 19 joules, and which will be equal to 13.6 eV electron volt. That is, there are three values are possible for Ramberg constant. The appearance of various spectral lines in the emission spectrum of hydrogen can be easily explained. Let us consider the first one, the Lyman series, N1 equal to 1 and N2 equal to 2, 3, 4, etc. and it is appears in the UV region. And similarly, Balmer series N2 equal to 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. and it appears in the visible region. Similarly, Baskin series, Brackett series and Pfeiffer series, and these type of series appears in the IR region, which we have already discussed in the previous slide. The very important is the wave particle duality of the electron, dual character of the electron. Einstein had suggested the light has a dual character, that is the properties of wave as well as the properties of a particle. But de Broglie proposed a matter also have the dual character. De Broglie was awarded the Physics Nobel Prize in 1929. He suggested that the electron has a dual character as both as a particle as a wave, and the wavelength lambda of a particle of mass moving with a velocity v according to the equation. Lambda will be equal to hmv. This equation is known as de Broglie equation. 16. The mass and energy relationship E equal to mc square, and the energy of the photon associated with the frequency E equal to h nu. Both are equal. H nu will be equal to mc square, and the equations are rearranged as given here, and the lambda is lambda will be equal to h by mc, and c is replaced by v for the velocity of electron. Lambda will be equal to h by mv, which will be equal to h by p. The p is the moment of the particle. But that is important formula for de Broglie equation. Lambda will be equal to h by mv, which will be equal to hp, and you have to keep the two important formulas in your mind. Based on the formula, you can expect it. Notice the de Broglie hypothesis was verified using Davidson-Germer experiment. The wavelength of the electron was found to be 1.668 Armstrong unit. It is also a TRP question. What is the wavelength of the electron in Davidson-Germer experiment? The wavelength is found to be 1.668 Armstrong unit. And this wavelength also lies in the range of X-ray, and this is the another point of similarity between the electron waves and X-ray. So it should be possible to apply the Bragg equation 2d sin theta will be equal to n lambda derived for the X-ray diffraction to electron diffraction also, where n is the order of reflection and lambda is the wavelength of a reflection of maximum intensity, and d is the interplanar distance between the successive lattice plane of the crystal, and theta is the glazing angle of the wave. And it is the important point you have to keep in mind regarding the de Broglie equation. One important, the wavelength is found to be 1.668 Armstrong unit, and the Bragg equation can also be used for electron diffraction. Uncertainty principle. It is impossible to determine precisely and simultaneously both position and momentum of a small moving particle. Therefore, it is assumed delta x into delta p is roughly equal to h by 4 pi. That is, if delta x is the uncertainty in position and delta p is the uncertainty in momentum, then delta x into delta p roughly equal to h by 4 pi. This can be written as delta x into m into delta v, which is also roughly equal to h by 4 pi. Werner Heisenberg, the German physicist, won the Nobel Prize in 1952. The important equation is delta x into delta p roughly equal to h by 2 pi, or delta x into m into delta v roughly equal to h by 4 pi. This is the point regarding Heisenberg uncertainty principle. And the Schrodinger wave equation. And we have to consider the Schrodinger equation in two ways. One in a one-dimensional box and another one is three-dimensional. The Schrodinger equation for a particle in one dimension is dou square psi by dou x square plus 8 pi square m by h square into E minus V into psi will be equal to 0. Here E is the total energy and V is the potential energy, and E minus V will be equal to the kinetic energy of the particle. Here the terms involved is kinetic energy. It is in one dimension, and it is changed to three dimension. You have to consider y and z axis. The three dimension, the equation can be written as dou square by psi by dou x square plus dou square by psi by dou y square plus dou square by psi by dou z square plus 8 pi square m by h square into e minus v into psi, that will be equal to 0. Now it is very important, we are going to discuss about the acceptable wave function. The acceptable wave function are those which satisfy the following condition. Three important conditions. 1. Psi is a single valid. For each value of variables x, y, z, there is one value for the function psi. 2. Psi and its first derivative with respect to its variable are continuous. 3. In boundary state, psi must vanish at infinitive. If a psi is a complex function, then psi star into psi must vanish at infinity. Over here, there are the important characters for acceptable wave function. One is psi is a single value and psi and its derivatives are continuous. The third one is at the boundary condition, psi must vanish at infinity. Based on these conditions, if the above conditions, three conditions are satisfied, the psi is called well-behaved or acceptable wave function. There are two functions are acceptable wave function and satisfied the above three conditions. The two functions are, one, psi will be equal to sine x and psi will be equal to e power of minus x square. Let us keep the two important functions to our mind, and all their functions are not acceptable, that is not well behaved wave function. Set an example: psi equal to x, psi equal to x square, psi equal to e power x, psi equal to e power minus x, and psi equal to tan x. And these equations, these wave function are not acceptable wave function. Only two functions are acceptable: psi equal to sin x and psi equal to e power of minus x square. Now we are going to discuss about the significance of psi and psi square. If the wave function psi is the state function and it has no physical significance, the important is it represents only the amplitude of the wave. And psi square is the probability of finding the electron at the point of the given instant. It is the significance of psi and psi. Now we are going to discuss about the importance of operator. What is operator? An operator is a mathematical symbol and is do the mathematical procedure and which transform one function into another function. Operator which operate on one function, it gives another function. Let us consider an operator d by dx. The function is x power n. The d by dx operate on x power n, it gives n into x power n minus 1, another function. Simply speaking, operator operates on one function, it gives another function. D by dx is an operator, x power n is the function, and n into x power n minus 1 is the another function. The function on which the operation is carried out is called operand. This is the simple explanation for operator. There are different type of. One is algebra operator. There are two type of operator. One is addition operator. The other one is subtraction operator. A plus b overhead on function, it will be equal to operator A on f plus operator B on f. Then AB operator, A plus B operator is known as addition operator. Similarly, A minus B operator on f will be equal to operator A on f minus operator B on f, and A minus B operator is known as subtraction operator. We can, taking a simple example, you can understand very easily. Operator A is log E, operator B is d by dx, f of x is x square. You apply it, log E is operator A plus operator B d by dx, f of x square, and this will be equal to log e x square plus d by dx of x square, that will be equal to 2 log e x plus 2x, or a f of x and b f of x. This operator is known as addition operator. Similarly, you can explain subtraction operator also. Let us know this. And the another important operator is known as multiplication operator. The consecutive function with two or more operator on a function may be called as multiplication operator. Let us consider operator b on f will give f dash, and operator a on f dash will give f double dash. Therefore, operator a, operator b, f will be equal to f double dash. The AB operator is known as multiplication operator. Let us consider the operator A is 4x square, the operator B is d by dx, and f of x is a x power 3. Then we can write 4x square d by dx of dx cube will be equal to 4x square into 3a by x square. Is differentiate, ax cube will give 3ax square, which will be equal to 12a power x power 4. x2 and x2 you multiply it, you will get x power 4. If you operate a on b on operator f of x ax cube, that gives 12a x power 4. The AB operator is known as multiplication operator. If the same operators are applied in several times in succession, then a f of x will be equal to a square into f of x. It is also called multiplication operator if the operators are same. The first one is the operators are different. You look the example, then you can understand the meaning of the multiplication operator. It is not very important. Addition operator, subtraction operator, as well as multiplication operator, you know the basic concept that is allowed. Next, we are going to discuss the example. A will be equal to d by dx, f of x equal to sin x. First you operate d by dx on sin x, that will give cos x. Then you once again multiply d by dx of cos x, that will be equal to minus sin x. Therefore, a square of f of x, that will be equal to minus sin x. That is the meaning of the operation of a square of. Important, and you can expect this question for competitive examination. Linear operator. An operator is to be linear if its application on the sum of two functions gives the result which is equal to the sum of the operation of the two functions separately. Let us consider operator A, and the sum of the function is f plus g, and this will be equal to operator A on f plus the operator A on b. The both results are same. The operator A is known as linear operator. Here f and g are known as function. If A is a linear operator, then it should satisfy this equation. Operator A on f plus g will be equal to operator A on f plus operator A on g. Example, d by dx is a linear operator, and a x power m and b x power n are two functions. D by dx of a x power m plus b x power n, this will be equal to d by dx of a x power m plus d by dx of b x power n. Then if the both sides are equal, then d by dx is a linear operator, and we will discuss some example in the next slide. Now the square root is not a linear operator. The square root of f of x plus g of x is not equal to the square root of f of x plus the square root of g of x. Both sides are not equal. Square root is not a linear operator. Similarly, the square is not a linear operator. A plus b over the whole square is not equal to a square plus b square. Therefore, the square is not a linear operator. And the multiplication is a linear operator. A into B plus C will be equal to AB plus C. Del dot square Laplacian operator is also a linear operator. You have to keep the key point is one is d by dx, the another one is multiplication, the third one is delta square. Laplacian operators are linear operator. Now we are going to explain the Laplacian operator. The square of delta operator is called, del square is called Laplacian operator, is defined as del square will be equal to dou square by dou x square plus dou square by dou y square plus dou square by dou z square. The commutator operator for any two operator A and B, the difference between AB minus BA is denoted as commutator A comma B, and it is called as commutator operator. If A and B, commutator of AB will be equal to 0, it is called zero operator. Commutator of AB will be equal to AB minus BA, that will be equal to 0. This is called zero operator. Vector operator. The vector operator delta will be equal to I into dou by dou x plus j into dou by dou y plus k into dou by dou z, where I, j, k are the unit vector along x, y. Discuss about the eigenvalues and eigenfunction. If psi is the well-behaved function of the state of the system and A is the operator on the function, it satisfies the condition operator A on psi will be equal to lambda into psi. That is, an operator operates on one function, it gives the same function multiplied by a constant lambda. That function psi is the eigenfunction and lambda is the eigenvalue. This is the one explanation for the eigenfunction and eigenvalue. If an operator A operates on a wave function psi, it gives the same function psi multiplied by a constant. The constant is called eigenvalue of the operator and the function is called eigenvalue. If you know that, you can get at least 1 mark in both TRP as well as GTRP examination. It is very important and you have to work out more. Let us consider d by dx of e power kx, that will be equal to k into e power kx. The same function is repeated, that is e power k is the eigenfunction and k is the eigenvalue. Similarly, d square by dx square of sine 4x, this will be equal to minus 16 sine 4x. Sine 4x is the eigenfunction and 16 is the eigenvalue. D square of dx square of cos 3x, that will be equal to minus 9 into cos 3x, and the cos 3x eigenfunction and minus 9 is the eigenvalue. Similarly, d by dx of e power ikx will be equal to ik into e power of ikx, and e power ikx is the eigenfunction and ik is the eigenvalue. These are the simple example to understand the eigenvalues as well as the eigenfunction. D square of dx square will be equal to e power ikx, that will be equal to I square k square e power ikx. The value of I square will be equal to minus 1, therefore minus k square e power ikx. The eigenvalue is minus k square. The eigenfunction is e power ikx. Note, the e power ikx is the eigenfunction of the operator d by dx as well as d square by dx square. But cos ax and sin ax are not the eigenfunction of the operator d by dx, and they are eigenfunction of the operator d square by dx square. And here the important operators are eigenfunction and eigenvalues are given. Now you consider the first one, del square Laplacian operator. the eigenfunction is sin k1x, sin k2y and sin k3z. The eigenvalues are minus k1 square plus k2 square plus k3 square. Similarly, 2 del square for the operator cos kx, cos by, cos bz, and the eigenvalues are minus a square plus b square plus c square. This is the eigenvalue. For Lz, the eigenfunction is Eim pi and the eigenvalue is nh bar, that will be equal to nh by 2 pi. And these are the important operators, eigenfunction and eigenvalues, and these questions are repeatedly asked in the competitive examination. And here the very important point you have to note here, e power of ax square and e power of minus ax square is not eigenfunction to the operator d by dx and d square by dx square. Very important point is note, e power ax square and e power minus ax square is not eigenfunction for the operator d by dx and d square by dx.